Greetings to you, my fellow otakus and cosplayers. How's it going? It's Rachel here. I am now on part 2 of the Champa / Virus process of my cosplay. So basically, in the previous video, I made Virus. I did say Champa first by mistake, so I do apologise. I was in a bit of a rush with my script, so sorry about that. But anyway, I'm in the process of making Champa-sama for my partner Adam, as I've made Virus. So we're going to be Virus and Champa together at MTM Comic Con and hope we have some fun. And obviously this is Mr. Champa-sama, so I'm making this part today, which I just kind of call the neck collar. I'm not quite sure what to call it. It's not really the tunic, because I'm calling this part here the tunic, which is the front part on his trousers. So I'm going to make this today. So this is what my Virus one looks like. So I made this from leather, which I had, luckily my dad had downstairs from when he made a cubby box for his Land Rover. So thanks, Daddy. So even still after I miss him, he still leaves me cosplay materials. And this part I made from like a blue satin, which I found for like £1 in my fabric store. This was just like a sampler fabric, and then I went back and got some more. Luckily they didn't have any left after that, so I was glad I got it. So it really gives a nice bold effect. I was going to use some plain fabric at first, but I thought, nah, this looks a bit more regal. It screams more, you know, I am a god. And this part here I made just from cotton with some interfacing on it, so exactly like what I did with the shapes on the tunic. And then I lined it around with some bias banding, and in the inside I lined it with some foam just to give it a bit more structure, because obviously the fabric itself is still quite soft and you need it to be, you know, quite sturdy on the shoulders, so it actually does work. So it's just basic A3 craft foam, and then I stitched it inside whilst doing the shapes, and I basically just sewn the parts together. So I'm just going to show you step by step the process of how I made it, so I hope you stick around and this video will help. So, first part we have to do, excuse me Mr. Champa, is to make our template. And Champa's tunic is slightly different to Virus's, as it has less shapes and more wider lines. So Mr. Virus has a lot more lines on the back of his tunic, and he has, oops, sorry Mr. Virus, sorry. This figure is so light, it's so droppable, I do apologise. So he has 4 stripes on the front, and 4 small stripes and the large part on the front, and as you can see he has about 10 lines I think on the back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 black, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blue. So yeah, I'm just going by the figure because this is the easiest way to work. It's actually a really good way as well. As I had the Champa when I made the head sculpt, I can compare both the contours of the faces as well. And Virus's tunic has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 black lines and 1, 2, 3, 4 on the back. And again, he has about the same as Virus. He has 5 blacks on the front and 4 reds on the front. So yeah, I'm just going to go by that pattern. Sorry, his tail keeps falling off. It's really bad. I really need to super glue this. So anyway, I have made my template. So I've just made a basic crescent moon shape. So this is the front part pattern, as I've drawn the circle here in the middle, and I've just folded it in half to make sure I've got the lines all where I want them. And obviously make sure that you position it on yourself to make sure that the pattern does fit, so you don't make it too big and too small. And if you need to make any changes around the pattern, then do so. So I just taped it. I put it on Adam to make sure it fits, and made some meditations. So I had to make the neck slightly bigger, and I had to make this just a little bit higher so it wasn't, you know, too saggy down, because I made mine a little bit longer to cover my chest area, just so I didn't look like a booby Virus. And obviously on the back, obviously I've marked it as back so I don't get mixed up. I've done the patterns again. So what I'm going to do next is cut these up and then attach it to my fabric. And basically with these, when you cut these individually, make sure that you leave at least a 1 centimeter gap each side, as when you sew it, it will reduce. So it will shrink down. So if you add that extra 1 centimeter add to the fabric, then it will stay the same size. So I'm just going to do that now and put you on my laps and show you when I finished. Okay, so before we do start cutting, one thing I forgot to mention is quite important. Obviously, before you cut your templates out, make sure that you mark up to where the where the middle is, or parting. So obviously don't forget to number your patterns so you know which order they go in, because obviously they vary in size as they go around the corners. They do change shape. So obviously I've labelled F for the front, so up to F1 to the middle part, and then F5 and F8 to the rest. And for the same on the back, I've done from B1, B2 to B3, then the middle part, and then B4 to B6. So don't forget to do that. And this is the fabric which I'm going to use for Champa as well. So I'm going to use a similar fabric to the first one, so it's red satin fabric. And again, I'm going to use leather for the black parts. So hopefully I will cut black templates cut out. So as you can see, I've left a 1 centimeter gap around each of the edgings, so just so it's easier to sew and it gives a nicer and neater edge. And if there's any excess on the back, you can just trim it off after you have sewn it. So I'm going to do exactly the same with the red fabric, so I will be right back. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces cut out. So we have our front pile and the back section pile. So obviously I'm keeping the templates on so I know which is what piece, and I'm going to tack them all together, and then let's put some sewing down. Okay, so now we have sewn everything together. This is what the tunic should look like. So it should be on neat and tidy. Just
passing through. I can't forget the day we met. Your smile so bright, it made me swoon. Our love is like a summer's day, hot and endless in a magic way. Whenever I see you, all I can think is my summer love. Been waiting for you, my love. My summer love. Been waiting for you, my love. I can't.
Okay, so we've now sewn on the symbol of the God clan. I should say. So it's on the ladies, so just get a basic straight stitch around edging, and there's a little bit of crimp on, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Go over it again with the sewing machine. So next up we're going to add bias banding. So as I mentioned, bias banding in this fabric. So fold it in half, put it in the edge, and another crimp edge. So go over and Okay, so after some sewing and a lot of mishaps on my machine, so many apologies, we finally have the collar. So I have attached all the fabric together. I've sewn on the circle for the Universe 6. So basically this is what it should look like inside. So obviously I've sewn each piece back to back. So obviously in number, and as you can see the bias banding is now covered all the edging. I did have to make one or two adjustments as I missed one or two places, but it's like this is only my second attempt, so it's still practice makes perfect. So I'll see it all the way up to the front here. So this is technically up to the front part, so F1 to F8, and here is where we make our fold over the shoulder. And then basically this extra part here is where I'm going to attach the well, it's not really an extra part, it's the thing. I'm going to attach the main bit of Velcro here, and obviously then the other part of Velcro will go here, and then it'll attach and look nice and neat. So as you can see, it's still a little bit, floppy in places. So this is what I'm going to do next. So you will need some big sheets of craft foam. So these are some pieces of A3 craft foam. It doesn't really matter what colour it is, but I just went with purple because of Beres and Champa. You can get this for like a 50p a sheet, so it's quite cheap. And I've just excuse me, sorry, my throat's really bad. I just craft clipped it together. So what I'm going to do is do the front piece first. So I'm just going to lay the template on top. I'm going to cut from part to this part, and then the other part the same. And then I'm going to machine through it into the other.
I can't forget the day we met. Your eyes so blue, me piercing through. I can't forget the day we met. Your smile so bright, it made me swoon. Our love is like a summer's day, hot and endless in a magic way. Whenever I see you, all I can think is my summer love. Been waiting for you, my love. My summer love. Been waiting for you, my love. I can't forget the day we met. You looked so fly in your red Corvette. Your hair, your look, your everything. When I see it all, I knew that you were mine. I'm in love with your hair, your lips, your silhouette in the moonlight shine. With my love you won't ever be alone. My summer love, been waiting for you, my love. Completely a fool, been waiting for you, my love. Head over heels, I'm blinded by what I feel. My love is forever yours. You have my heart, you have my soul, you have my whole, you have my control. Love me tender, love me sweet. With you I know that I'm complete. I'm in love with the summer's day. For you I'd give my life away. Never leave me, never.
Okay guys, so as you can see I've now finished. So I have sewn on the bias banding, so it looks nice and neat, so it gives a nice edge. I had to redo it because unfortunately I actually missed a bit and it crumpled up, so I had to redo it and just restitch it, which didn't take too long. It was just a little quick job. And inside, as you see, I've sewn in all of the foam. I had a little bit of an issue as I ran out of some foam, so I had to use an A4 piece. So what I'm going to do is just go over it with some glue and tack it down just to make it a bit tidier, so it's not, flopping around. I'll just use some Mod Podge. I'm not going to bother sewing it because of the movement, it'll just tear, so glue is a better option. And I've also added the Velcro. So this is the easiest way to add it. So sorry, I've only got one hand. So here we go. So I've added 2 strips of Velcro. So one here to hold the edging down, and one here to stop it, kind of flapping around as you walk. And obviously on the other side, there's the other Velcro. So it sticks down quite well, and if you do it just fairly up to the edge, it's good. I've just stuck it down. It doesn't look straight, but when I Velcro it down, it does look really nice, straight and tidy. So hopefully this tutorial will help you make a tunic for whichever god you want to do from Dragon Ball Super. And yay, if you have any comments or questions, please ask me down below and I will get back to you when I can. So stick around for my next tutorial, guys. Next up I will be making the wristbands and arm straps. So bye guys.